Thank you for joining us on the program from the National Assembly. I am Ignatius Nkwo. Well, yesterday we brought you live broadcasts of Senate Plenary, and then today is that of the House of Representatives. And from the other paper, the House has scheduled 12 motions and 6 bills for consideration. And one of these bills, 2 of the bills that will be coming up on the floor today. 2 of them actually are coming for third reading. And then out of the ones that will be coming for second reading, 2 of them actually came from the Senate seeking concurrence by the House. And one of these bills that will be coming up for second reading today's plenary is a bill for an act to amend the National Universities Commission. That bill seeks to provide for the teaching of parliamentary studies and tertiary institutions in Nigeria. And then among the bills that will be coming up on the floor today is a bill, a motion that seeks to investigate alleged non-remittance of 5.6 billion naira by the Federal Mortgage Bank. Well, these and some other motions will be coming on the floor this morning. But as usual, I've have with me here the Chairman House Committee on Rules and Business, Emmanuel Okejev. He's here to tell us more. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Ignatius. Good morning, Nigerians. Yeah, like you said, we have 2 bills coming up for third reading. Like I always explain, third reading means that it will be passed today by the House. The first one of the 2 is a bill for an act to establish the Federal School of Medical Laboratory Technology, JOS. It will be coming up for third reading today, meaning we'll pass it and then send it over to the Senate for concurrence. We'll also be passing, for third reading, a bill for an act to establish the establishment of the Chartered Institute of Treasury Management for the promotion, study, and practice of properly managing the treasury as a safeguard against fraud and outright embezzlement. I think it's a very important piece of legislation. It will be coming up today for third reading, meaning that we'll pass it. One of those bills that you mentioned as coming from the Senate is a bill that seeks to make provisions for the prohibition and punishment of sexual harassment of students in educational institutions. The Senate has passed it and sent it over to us for concurrence. It will be coming up today for second reading, meaning that we'll be debating it on the floor. At the end of the day, we'll determine whether we'll also pass it. If we are passing it with variations, we'll then do what we call a conference committee of both houses to come up with a harmonious piece of legislation before sending it over to the presidency for its assent. So, also coming up for second reading is a bill that seeks to take out certain sections of the Police Act and reenact the traffic wardens service. The bill seeks to take a look, consider look at the services and welfare of the traffic wardens. So that piece of legislation, that bill will be coming up today also for second reading. Also for second reading is a bill that seeks to establish the Chartered Institute of Auctioneers of Nigeria. It seeks to regulate, control, and also uplift the standard of auctioneering in Nigeria. That bill comes up for second reading too. You've already mentioned the National Universities Commission. It's also one of those bills that will be coming up. There are 12 motions, like you mentioned. Some are what we call infrastructural motions. Normally, we do not debate infrastructural motions. We just mention it, and if it is passed, it's referred to the relevant committee for action. Then there are bills that are known as debatable bills. Amongst the debatable bills is the need to stem the rising tide of defaced, filthy, and mutilated currency notes in circulation. The member is sufficiently bothered that we should take a look at that because our legal tender should be respected. He is seeking several reliefs. There's also a motion that seeks to take a look at the absorption of those early volunteers into the Civil Defense Corps, those that started before it became part of the federal government establishment. Some are still languishing out there, not absorbed by the establishment. So this motion seeks to take a look at that and see whether these people could be absorbed into the system. We also have a bill seeking to take a look at the lopsidedness in the appointments of directors for the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria and a breach of the federal character. The member is sufficiently concerned that federal character has not been complied with in the appointment of that. A bill that seeks to call on the federal government to drop the 20% tariff imposed on imported medicine. Is of worry to the member bringing it, and he's seeking the House attention to try to look at the situation. You know, several members have brought jointly a motion, to carry out personnel infrastructure audit in the Nigerian police force. So it's a motion that the House this morning will be taking a look at too. There's also the need to intervene in the current crisis of unpaid pension arrears in Nigeria, threatening the lives of our senior citizens. Several members have come together to co-sponsor this motion and asking the House to take a look at it with a view to trying to resolving the matter in favor of those who have given their lives and time to Nigeria. In their later years, they should be taken care of. So that is that is also among it. And then we have about 4 reports coming up for consideration, as you mentioned. And of course, 2 sets of bills are also coming up for consolidation before they come for second reading. So, like I mentioned, there are instances where members could just spring up on the floor and say, I have a matter of urgent public importance. That doesn't necessarily come, in fact, it doesn't come on the order paper. But a member could rise up to say that I have a matter that deserves looking into. So those are some of the things.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for having me once again.
Yeah. As the Chairman House Committee on Rules and Business has just said it, most of the motions slated on the order paper today, in fact, a good number of them are infrastructure motions. And, well, in the wisdom of the House, infrastructure development is an integral part of a developing nation. And as a matter of fact, they've decided not to do much debate or not to argue much on the need to provide infrastructure in any part of Nigeria. And so most of these motions burden on infrastructure will have a leeway. They will be passed. Well, as it is right now, members are yet to commence Thursday's sitting. Therefore, we'll bring to you a repeat of the House plenary. But as soon as the House commences sitting, we'll take you straight to the Green Chamber. Of March 2017. Don't forget, you can also reach us live on NTA Parliament channel on 306 Star Times Bouquet. As usual, the legislators are now going through votes and proceedings of Wednesday's plenary for adoption. A total of 9 motions are already slated on the order paper of today for consideration. 4 bills will be coming up for consideration as well. But one of these bills will be coming up for 3rd reading. And it is a bill for an act to amend the Public Procurement Act of 2007. Well, that bill seeks to add a new member to the council, thereby amending the procedures for the appointment of the Director General of the Bureau and extending the application of the Act to defense procurement. Well, that bill was extensively debated before today, that is stands to be passed for 3rd reading.
They are youngsters, you may not see them, so round of applause for them. Thank you for coming. Kindly take your seats. Also in the gallery are students of Triple Values Academy. They are from Buari. Round of applause for them. Thank you for coming. Kindly take your seats. Any member who has a petition to present to the House may please rise to do so. We'll start with Honorable Temi Tokpe Sugar.
Thank you, my Honorable Speaker, the Honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Dr. Onaturi Temi Tokpe Sugar, representing good people of Lagelu Akinyele Federal Constituency, Ibadan, Oyo State. I rise to present this petition on behalf of my good people of Oyo State, particularly the Volunteers Forum of the NSCDC, that is the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. The subject is the pathetic case of the pioneer of the NSCDC in Oyo State. This group of people, they are the beginner of the security outfit called civil defense now, Nigerian civil defense, that we are all enjoying. If there was not yesterday, there won't be today. According to the law being quoted by them, that before these outfits was being established in 2003, there is a law and act that established them, which is section 26, subsection 5 and 6, which explains that before considering the new members of the corps, they have to put into the consideration the old members, that is the founder, the beginner, the genesis of what we are enjoying today. They did. They have been giving them what they promised, which is 30,000 naira per quarter. But suddenly, without any correspondence, without any information, after 3 years, they just stopped. And for almost 9 years now, these my people, they are over 2,000. They are the ones that started in the old Nigeria, the NNCDC, this security outfit that we are enjoying, that is the civil defense. So they have been disturbing my office, that I have to fight for them. And that is why the petition, I want to present this petition to the whole house, that we have to put them to the consideration. They are not, most of them are not that hijacked. And we here today, we are representing. But I believe tomorrow in the nearest future, maybe in our next 10, 15 years, we also be weakened rather. So that is why I come with this petition. I want to create the knowledge of the powerful and the honorable right speaker that I should lay down this petition.
Please proceed and lay the petition. Honorable Lisa Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleague. I remain Honorable Ali Issa Jesse, representing Balanga Billiri Federal Constituency. I am from Gombe State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I have the following petitions. 1. Petition by Alhaji Ali against Public Complaint Commission on wrongful dismissal from service. Number 2, petition by Dr. Uma Ibe against Nigerian Electric Management Service Agency on unlawful takeover of the former PHCN staff clinic by Nigerian Electricity Management Service Agency. Petition by Ibrahim Suleiman Yusuf on behalf of Nigerian Arewa Foundation against the illicit manners of conduct of the chairman, National Hajj Commission. Petition by Chief James Budebo on behalf of the Mangaza community, Abuja, on the acts of trespass by the Federal Capital Territory Administration. And lastly, petition by Godwills Iyoki, ESQ, in respect of wrongful dismissal of Ambrose O. and institutional weaknesses on the state authorities to Federal Capital Development Authority. With your permission, Mr. Speaker, may I tender the petition? Thank you.
Okay. Proceed and lay the petition. Honorable Bambose.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable members, I am Honorable Bangboshe Hotonyon Joseph. I represent Badagry Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. The petition I want to present is in respect of 82 staff of Nigerian French language village, Ajara Badagry, who were unlawfully and wrongfully disengaged from service without due process, which underscore the effectiveness of Labor Act. Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues, it may interest you to note that each of these staff who were duly employed, confirmed, promoted, and have spent years, ranging from 10 to 16 years in service, were now converted to contract staff after this unlawful disengagement in 2007. 10 years after today, that is today, this 2017, no gratuity and no access to PFAs, and interestingly, some of them still get alerts every month from the PFA's monthly contribution. However, this petitioner pray for immediate reinstatement and compensation of all affected 82 staff of the Nigerian French language village, Ajara Badagry. May I seek for your approval to lay this petition before the House?
Please proceed and lay the report. Honorable Anayo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Anayo Edwin. I represent the good people of Ezza North, Ishelu Federal Constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from meaningful Nigerians. One of the petitions is a petition by Felix N. Esquire on threat to life and conduct of Alhaji Kimba and his crony, one Mr. Usman, against Alhaji Abuja Yellow. The second petition is a petition by M.M. Inyela on behalf of Ibrahim A. Dibia against the Nigerian Prison Services. The third petition is protest by Apostle Thursday Elemene on behalf of Southwestern Coastal Bloc in respect of the execution of Coastal Link Road to Apple Creek in Southern Regional Local Government area of Bayelsa State through Amasoma to Yenegua Regional Project, budgeted by NDDC since 2008, 2009, 2011, and 2014 on Foropa Seashore payment, budgeted in 2007 to 2014. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, is a petition by Honorable Barrister D.W. Waki on urgent national importance, which borders on 1, security threat to life, 2, security threat to Obama Oil and Gas Flow Station and its operations by the Nigerian Oil and Gas Company Limited. 3rd, non-payment of arrears due to Comrade Ayanka K. Matthias on security surveillance services and other marine logistics services rendered, which is capable of causing serious security concern and a breach of the peace in the Niger Delta region. Mr. Speaker, may I lay this petition? Thank you.
Please proceed and lay the petition.
No, your point is wrong. Yes, we do. You assume that the government doesn't want you every week when you are taking the money. Not so. It is the people that have to source it. In fact, they are the I went to pay 7%. It came up to more than it is an odd number. That's an odd number. It doesn't go to it goes to
The House now goes straight to a consideration of bills. That is a bill that we initially spoke at the beginning of this program. A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the National Center for Research and Production of Snake Vaccines in Nigeria. Well, that bill will be coming up on the floor, and it's the second bill on the order paper. It's been sponsored by two members, Representative Binta Bello and Representative Timothy Gulu. Well, that bill will be coming up for second reading. And after that, we expect it to now come for third reading and then subsequent concurrence by the Senate. The next
all the way from Buari, near Law School. Could you please rise for identification? Round of applause for them.
It's the Nigerian Television Authority. We are reaching you live from the floor of the House of Representatives, where members have reconvened for Thursday's plenary. Don't forget, you can also watch us live on NTA Parliament channel on channel 306 Star Time Bouquet. I am Ignatius Nkwo. Well, this is the live broadcast of the plenary of the House of Representatives, like I said earlier. As usual, members are now going through the votes and proceedings of Wednesday's plenary. That is, as soon as they've gone through the votes and proceedings, which means they are cross-checking what transpired on the floor yesterday, and as soon as it's approved, the House now goes straight to the order paper of the day. The order paper of today actually is loaded with some items that members are expected to deliberate. Well, on the order paper, well, after issues that might be coming up under matter of urgent public importance, but then any matter that come under matter of urgent public importance will not be taken today. It will be deferred to the next plenary day. And as it stands, it should be on Tuesday next week. After that, petitions. The House will soon receive petitions from members who have petitions from their constituents. And after that, the House will now go to the first item on the order paper. At this point in time, the House member is now presenting a petition to the House.
Government of Nigeria in 1962 to build the University of Lagos. The family are yet to be compensated. They now request this Honorable House to interfere on their behalf to enable the federal government to pay their compensation. This is my petition, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Okay, please proceed and lay the petition. Well, for the purpose of our records, I understand the votes and proceedings of yesterday were approved. So it was the second votes and proceedings that were approved earlier on. Please, for the purposes of our records, second votes on proceedings of yesterday. Honorable colleagues, we have point of order relating to matters of urgent public importance. I recognize Honorable Yinka Ajayi to move his motion. Move his point of order, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. My name is Honorable Ade.
Sorry, Honorable Yinka, I have not referred to petition. The petition is referred to the Committee on Public Petition. Honorable Yinka, please, you can now raise your point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I remain Honorable Ade Yinka Ajayi. I represent the people of Oduoti, Ifelodu, and Boipe local governments. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the state of Osun. Mr. Speaker, may I move a matter of urgent public importance under the rules of this House? And before I do so, Mr. Speaker, I'd love to apply that we suspend the relevant rules of the House order.
Just tell us why the matter should be considered urgent. You know that we have resolved now that except in cases of extreme urgency, we will defer the consideration of the motion to the next legislative date. So just tell us why you think the matter is urgent, what the matter is and why you think it's urgent.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the matter that is of utmost concern to us as a nation on this very, very sensitive and dangerous matter concerning aviation safety. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, flight activities and operations into the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport has been totally suspended, and the traffic into and out of Abuja International Airport has been diverted to the Kaduna International Airport. We've had assurances about safety, Mr. Speaker, but developments in the last few days have shown that the safety of the lives of Nigerians is put in jeopardy based on practices and procedures and non-observation of aviation rules and regulations that could cause, God forbid, accidents in the skies. We have a procedure that is being abused around the ramp area. And most importantly, Mr. Speaker, we have a complaint that fuel is being discharged, Jet A1 is being discharged into aircraft directly from haulage tankers straight into aircraft fuel bowsers and loaded onto aircraft. Mr. Speaker, this is clearly an accident waiting to happen. These haulage tankers are supposed to put this fuel in storage facilities for sedimentation purposes, processing, before being evacuated into fuel bowsers to load onto aircraft. But when you have haulage tankers, where we have haulage tankers drive onto the tarmacs, onto the ramp site, and discharge directly into fuel bowsers for loading onto aircraft, Mr. Speaker, there can be contamination. There could be engine failures, and it could lead to catastrophic. There could be accidents in the air. Mr. Speaker, this is of serious concern to users. This is of serious concern to Nigeria, the public generally, and I believe is a matter that is urgent, that we should call our aviation authorities to ensure that this allegation, if it is correct, is stopped immediately. Because, Mr. Speaker, as we speak, there are aircrafts in the air right now, and we don't pray for an accident to happen in our airspace. So I believe, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, that this is a really very important matter. It is urgent, and I urge my colleagues that we take this matter as a matter of urgent public importance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues.
Honorable Idigan.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Honorable Idigan, representing the very good people of Bariki Ladirium Federal Constituency of Plateau State. I rise to second this very important motion, a matter of urgent public importance, and to urge that we consider it as requested by the mover. I so second, honorable colleagues. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion that the matter be considered urgent, say aye. Those against it, say nay. The ayes have it. Is it a matter we'll take today or we'll defer it to Tuesday? Okay. Honorable, you can move the next leg of the motion, please.
Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, I remain Honorable Adeyinka Ajayi. I move that this matter be taken. I move that we suspend the relevant rules of this House to allow this matter to be taken today. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, Honorable Udende.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Emmanuel Memga Udende. I represent Kasnara Okum, Logo Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue State. I second the motion that the matter is urgent enough and should be taken now. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion that we suspend our relevant rules to enable him take the motion today, now, say aye. Those against it, say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Yinka, you can now move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. May I move, Mr. Speaker, a motion for need to review and ensure that Kaduna International Airport complies with operational and safety requirements as contained in prescribed aerodrome standards of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Act and regulations issued in respect thereof. Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, we're informed that due to the temporary closure of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, for runway repairs, ad hoc flight operations are since commenced at the Kaduna International Airport as an alternate to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The House notes that following the resumption of flight activities into the Kaduna Airport as the alternate to Abuja, there has been an obvious increase in aviation-related activities at the airport. The House further notes that despite the objections of the public, both within and outside the industry, to the full closure of the Abuja airport for a planned period of 6 weeks, the general public was assured and reassured by the Ministry of Aviation, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, the Nigerian Fire Service, Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, and Meteorological Agency that the airport will be ready, fit, and safe to handle the new traffic that would flow into the Kaduna International Airport. The foreign airlines, the House notes that most of the foreign airlines have declined the need to use Kaduna International Airport except for one, Ethiopian Airlines, which has operated into and out of Kaduna International Airport. The House is concerned, however, that despite all assurances about safety issues, we have started to notice serious concerns around the Kaduna International Airport operations. Particularly, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, the House notes that there is an allegation that ramp markings at the Kaduna International Airport is inadequate. 2, there's an allegation that the restrictions around the ramp markings and the utilization is being observed and is being violated by unauthorized users who can go right through the ramp, violating the markings, which offends international rules and regulations of ramp control. The House notes that aircraft maneuvering and parking spaces available at the Kaduna Airport appears to be inadequate, thereby causing periods of long periods of flight operations into and out of the Kaduna Airport. Thirdly, the House notes, and the House is disturbed, that there are allegations that fueling installations and procedure at the Kaduna International Airport grossly falls short of international standard and pose grave danger to employees, passengers, and the general public. It further notes and disturbed that some aviation marketers have been allegedly transferring Jet A1 products from bulk road tankers directly into fuel bowsers right on the tarmac at the Kaduna International Airport and discharging same into commercial aircraft. The House further notes also that these marketers could not have been properly licensed to operate at the Kaduna International Airport using this dangerous and illegal procedure. Neither do they have the requisite equipment for storage nor the required quality assurance kits needed to comply with aviation standards. The House is worried also that the perimeter fencing and restriction of access to airside by livestock and local human traffic is allegedly not adequate, and therefore it leaves the airside open to invasion by either livestock or unruly members of the public. This portends danger to aircraft and general aviation safety. Finally, Mr. Speaker, also aware that passenger processing at the Kaduna International Airport is allegedly very cumbersome, as no substantial space allocation as required by aerodrome standards has been complied with in distributing and processing passengers within and around the airport perimeters. Finally, if these observations and concerns are not urgently addressed, the nation stands the risk of being sanctioned by the International Civil Aviation Authority, as well as have our reputation as an international destination at jeopardy. And we may also risk having a hair mishap. Therefore, the House resolved to mandate the Committee on Aviation to receive and review the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority audit report prepared by its Directorate of Aerodrome Standards to ascertain that the industry acceptable standards of ramp safety is being complied with at the Kaduna International Airport and report back to the House within 1 week. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder. Honorable Ima.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. I'm Emmanuel Makojiegu. I represent Ida Igalamela Odolo for Nibajifera constituency of Kogi State. I rise to second the noble motion moved by Honorable Yinka as a second.
Honorable Yinka, you can now lead the debate. Honorable Yinka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. Mr. Speaker, this motion is of absolute urgency. It's urgent, Mr. Speaker, because Kaduna International Airport, we have been told, will be safe and fit for the status that we have assigned to it. Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, Kaduna Airport, under normal circumstances, is the alternate to Abuja. It is not a new status that has been conferred. It's not a new status that is being conferred on the Kaduna Airport. It is the designated alternate to Abuja Airport. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we expect that certain standards will be maintained at the Kaduna International Airport, whether or not there was an emergency situation which required the temporary closure of Abuja Airport. Mr. Speaker, the concern that I have this morning that is worrying is the fact that we have a potential accident waiting to happen. Mr. Speaker, recently we just got the report of our AIB on the cause of the Dana crash. That is still very fresh in our memories. Mr. Speaker, from a cursory reading of the report released, we understand that it's a combination of human error arising from engine failure. That is the summation of what happened to the aircraft that crashed. The aircraft developed a fault a few minutes after takeoff in Abuja, and instead of the aircraft coming back to Abuja, it continued to Lagos, and then what happened eventually happened. Mr. Speaker, it was an engine failure. Engine failure, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, if we have a situation where haulage tankers, straight from depots, open to contamination, disperse fuel directly into Bowsers. Bowsers are the trucks equipped to dispense Jet A1 into aircrafts. The nozzles available on haulage tankers cannot dispense directly into tankers. Maybe that is the practice we would have been experiencing, Mr. Speaker. So we have a situation where these tankers drive straight onto the ramp, discharge into the Bowsers, and just drive back out. That is an abuse of the ramp side rules and regulations. That is why the ramp integrity has been compromised. That is an example of a compromise of the ramp integrity. And that is why we are calling for a review of the ramp side procedure. We're asking that the Civil Aviation Authority address the integrity of our ramp side. We have issues of the perimeter fencing. Mr. Speaker, we have a lot of livestock movement in and around open space. We know that in aircraft design, in airport designs all over the world, you have a lot of open field, large grounds around the perimeters of airports. These areas are open to livestock movement. If there are no proper perimeter walls to prevent livestock and even local human traffic from getting into the airside area, Mr. Speaker, this is another accident waiting to happen. Mr. Speaker, there were lots of allegations flying around the readiness or otherwise of Kaduna International Airport to achieve the purpose for which we have assigned to it. But Mr. Speaker, from what we have seen, these allegations are becoming real. These allegations are beginning to stare us in the face. And we need to nip this in the bud now. Because, Mr. Speaker, aviation accidents always touch each and every one of us. Even if you don't have a relative on board a fatal aircraft, Mr. Speaker, the fact that you also use the aircraft concerns us as human beings. The fact that it could be any one of us on this aircraft. It could be anybody, it could be our relatives, it could be our friends, it could be our allies, it could just be anybody, Mr. Speaker. That is why this matter is critical. It's important that we get the Civil Aviation Authority who approved that airport, particularly its Aerodrome Standards Directorate, that audited the airport and certified it fit for the purpose, to convince us that standards are being complied with, the regulations are being observed positively, so that we are sure that we do not have an accident actually waiting for an address. It's like an accident as has happened, we're just looking for an address to attach to it. On this note, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, I believe that we should support this motion to call on the Civil Aviation Authority to come and convince the nation that Kaduna International Airport is fit for the purpose for which we've assigned to it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my respected colleagues.
Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I would like to put it on record. For those of us who do not know, that the mover of this motion, I happen to know, has some aviation background and technical know-how in the industry. So he's coming from a background of knowledge. So we need to take the contents of his motion very serious. Mr. Speaker, I think it's very important to, again, err on the side of caution. It is important for us to err on the side of caution. It is often said that you can manage a car, a locomotive, or any other engine that is on ground, on the road, but you cannot manage an aircraft. Of all the things that were listed by Honorable Ajayi, each one of them has damaging consequences. But the one that grabs my attention and is of most concern is the potential possibility of the contamination of jet fuel. Because that is not even visible to the naked eye. But the consequences can be very catastrophic. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the question that begs for answer for me, if all the foreign airlines, bar none, except one, that operate in Nigeria, have individually and collectively determined and decided that they will not be flying into Kaduna Airport, the question is, what do they know that we do not know? Is there something that these airlines know? When did they know it? Who have they communicated such knowledge to? That we do not know. Particularly when you realize that there will be major economic loss to these airlines. And we know that people in the aviation industry, airlines are not there for charity. They're there to make money. But they have determined that rather than make money, they will rather take a hit. And they're flying into Lagos, but they have not increased their frequency in Lagos. So they're taking a major hit, but they rather do that. That, therefore, makes you wonder and makes you think, what's going on here? It is because of that, and because of the nature of the business we're talking about, aviation, that this motion deserves and requires urgent review as to what's the state of readiness of Kaduna Airport, both in terms of infrastructure. But the infrastructure, for me, whilst it's important, it's not even as important as the technical readiness, contamination, and the rest of that of the jet fuel. So I believe that this House should expeditiously look into this matter as presented by Honorable Ajayi. Thank you.
In this motion, so we take those who are speaking for, and if anyone wants to speak against, it will come later. Those speaking for the motion. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My highly respected colleagues, I remain Leo Kuwe-Ogo, representing Isoko Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, I'm from Delta State. Let me first and foremost thank the author and mover of this motion for bringing before us a very, very important motion that I consider harmless and life-saving. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, let me also state with all emphasis that our primary responsibility as government is the security and welfare of our citizens. And I state that I'm going to speak from a very privileged position because I have visited that particular route and traveled the past 3 days from Kaduna to Abuja, flew from Lagos to Kaduna. Fundamental issues has been raised. And what the author of this motion seeks is the Aviation Committee, which is a committee of the House, to intervene because it's teaching time saves none. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, when I flew into Kaduna, I realized that that site, to me, is more like a construction site. And where you see construction going on, and planes are landing, I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, God forbid, that is more like crisis in waiting. It is very, very dangerous. I really cannot comprehend why all this unnecessary rush. Here we are hearing a very different allegation where fuel is being filled directly into planes against all international norms and standards. And the fundamental question should be asked. The majority leader raised the fundamental question. Let me inform this House that the Nigerian route is one of the most lucrative routes all over the world, where airlines are charging probably 10 naira on other routes. It is almost 10 times the cost. But for this international airline to say, no, we are not going to fly into Kaduna, I think this is one question that our committee should find out what actually is happening. I really don't want us to, like I said, in every investigation, to overflow the issues. But I tell you one gospel truth, that where you are in that air, it is God for us or an eye for myself. Because you don't pray, it happens. Because if it does, the prayer tune always change. All you hear is, oh God, oh God, oh God. I pray you don't experience such a situation. So if somebody among us have observed situations that have placed almost everybody in danger, we don't know who. It can be you, it can be me. It becomes important that no matter how flimsy those excuses are, we must take a holistic analysis of the situation because the safety of our citizens is primary to all of us. So I appeal to my colleagues that no matter how stupid you might think this motion is, it is a motion that seeks a very, very important investigation, knowing the speed at which we all rushed into Kaduna. We were moving equipment with exorbitant cost, which to me is important. But I think what this motion seeks is our collective security. I fly that airline. So if this motion is going to make sure that I'm safe, I appeal that we all give it all the necessary support. Thank you.
Honorable Hassan, newest member of the APC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
He's not yet a member of the APC.
Honorable colleagues, I'm Hassan Saleh. I represent the very good people of Ado, of Gbadibo, of Poku Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, like you rightly observed, the newest member of the APC on the floor. I'm from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to lend my support to this motion, and I agree with every sentence of the body of this motion because, Mr. Speaker, as early or as late as Sunday, 4 days ago, I flew into Kaduna Airport. And of course, I observe
Order, please.
everything
Silence,
that
honorable members.
the mover of this motion has observed at the airport. Mr. Speaker, aviation fuel is not what anybody will want to play with. Tampering with the quality alone is disastrous, not to talk of the process in which this aviation fuel is being transported and transferred into this aircraft. Mr. Speaker, it is in total confusion. Even the security personnel are at a loss as to how to control the crowd that is passing through this airport. They don't even check bags anymore. Once there's pressure, they allow people to pass through without even going through the screening machine. And God forbid, like the minority leader said, that if anything should happen, we will begin to rise up for a 1-minute silence for those that have departed. And I think if the Aviation Committee or the Committee on House Committee on Aviation is given this mandate, they will be able to quickly put this thing to a stop. Because, like they said, if you go to Kaduna, it's like a construction site. They are painting, they are raising walls. People have been, we landed in Kaduna, Mr. Speaker, for good 20 minutes. We could not get out of the aircraft because there was no step to bring us out of the aircraft. There was no ladder. So we were thinking maybe we should just jump out of the plane and, and find our way. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this matter is very urgent. It is very important because it has to do with safety. It has to do with security. And we should please, with the speed of light, pass this motion. And the Committee on Aviation should please not trivialize this matter, because when they say 1 week, in 1 week we should see a report on the floor of the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Nena.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for yielding the floor to me. Nena Ilendu KJ, member representing Bende Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the mover of this motion for bringing the floor and, of course, carrying out one of our core functions, which is oversight. Mr. Speaker, sir, of course, if you look at the totality of the contributions on the floor, it says that this experiment, the Kaduna Airport experiment, has obviously failed. Mr. Speaker, aviation experts will say to you that the 3 most important things in aviation are safety, safety, safety. Everything else is aesthetics. And Mr. Speaker, when, of course, this motion came to the floor and we were debating the possibility of using the Kaduna Airport, a lot of issues were raised on the floor. The category of the airport, ILS, airfield lighting, the storage on fuel, the turnaround time for aircraft, the infrastructure and the number of people the airport could take, security, baggage handling, etc., etc. And Mr. Speaker, I recall that I made the point, and a lot of my colleagues as well, said that the Kaduna Airport had to be critically looked at because, of course, we recognize the fact that Nigeria is a window, security is an issue, and of course, the safety of the passengers is also an issue. But Mr. Speaker, evidently that wasn't taken into cognizance. And I traveled from Kaduna just 3 days ago. And Mr. Speaker, of course, I wasn't disappointed in the negative. As the minority leader said, it is a construction site. There were rigs trying to dig up boreholes.
Silence, please. Order, honorable members, please.
On a place that is conceived to be the runway. And of course, as the mover of the motion said, you could see fuel tankers fueling the aircraft right where the passengers were trying to move. Mr. Speaker, so of course, I've heard a lot of people say that we're trying to encourage all the international airlines to move back to Kaduna. But Mr. Speaker, at the time we landed...
Order, please.
On Azman Air.
Silence, honorable members, please.
The Ethiopian Airways aircraft was landing. And because of the number of passengers that Ethiopian Airways brought, we had to be moved to the old Hajj terminal because there was just not enough space to take local passengers as well as international passengers. So let's imagine, for the purpose of conversation, that indeed the British Airways was landing, so was Air France, and so on and so forth. It would be an absolute disaster. Mr. Speaker, sir, we sat down there, we went to the Hajj, and there was no carousel. So, of course, as at when Asman was landing, so was, I think it was Airpeace landing, and all the luggage got mixed up, and it took us, he says 25 minutes, it took us 2 hours to get our luggage and out of the airport. Mr. Speaker, sir, this experiment is one that must obviously be reviewed. In spite, of course, of the infrastructure, Mr. Speaker, also safety. Because when people get on those aircraft and we're unable to pass our luggage through security, Mr. Speaker, sir, God forbid, and I use the terminology that a lot of my colleagues have used, God forbid that we have an on-air security circumstance. So, Mr. Speaker, I would like to lend my voice and urge, again, as Honorable Saleh said, that the Committee on Aviation look into this matter and come up with resolutions that would hopefully assuage the fear and build back the security for which Nigeria has attained. Because Nigeria, of course, has now attained some measure of international security as far as aviation is concerned. And if anything happens at this airport, it will affect our international ratings. So I thank the mover of the motion, and I urge that my colleagues please support the motion. Thank you.
Now, those who will speak against the motion, take one or two. Honorable Dati.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for yielding the floor to me. My name is Honorable Garba Dati Mohammed. I represent Sabon Gari Federal Constituency. I'm from Kaduna State. First of all, having listened to the motion and the argument for...
Silence, please. Honorable John Bull, please take your seat.
I have to commend the mover of the motion for the concern he has shown for the safety of passengers that goes through Kaduna International Airport. But there are certain aspects of that motion and the contribution made by some of my colleagues here that I don't agree with. Even before the commencement of flight to Kaduna International Airport, we know there is a very serious opposition to movement of that airport even before...
Silence, please. Please, members, order. Honorable John Bull.
Movement to Kaduna.
Honorable John Bull, please.
So
Chairman of Stream, please.
All safety
Benilar, please.
measures has been taken. Even the President of Nigeria, who is the first citizen, landed in that airport safely. Even the international airlines that decided not to use the Kaduna International Airport has not said anything, because the Ethiopian airline that has been operating has not laid any complaint. This is 15 days that we have, these 15 days of operation in Kaduna Airport successfully without any problem, without any hitches. So, as the minority leader said, it's a clear contradiction of his previous stance in the case of Abuja International Airport, when most of them insisted that the repairs can continue simultaneously with the landing of international airports.
That's not what we said. Point of order.
And now he's saying that that area is a construction site.
Honorable members,
this is already 2 weeks. And Mr. Speaker, even if this committee will make a recommendation before they finish, I'm sure the 4 weeks, the remaining 4 weeks might have lapsed. So, Mr. Speaker, most of the criticisms, I think they are misplaced.
Before you misquote me,
because I was there myself. the issue of perimeter fencing, the issue of fueling, disbursement of the fuel to the aircraft, that has nothing to do with that has nothing to do with the airport itself. So the sentiment that has been against that airport is still there. But I'm sure this airport, the minister, as I said the other time, is a certified international pilot. There is a committee of experts that were sent to go and follow to see that this operation is successful, and it has been successful without any problem. So international flights, even before this time, even before the present situation, international flights have been going in and out of Kaduna International Airport during the high operation and other
order, honorable members, please.
So, Mr. Speaker, as much as I share a sentiment in the issue of safety for everybody, but most of the information supplied are half-truth. Thank you.
Minority Leader, what's your point of order?
My point of order, Mr. Speaker, comes under rules of debate, Order 1, Rule 9, Order 1, Rule 1, Sub 8. No member shall impute improper motive to any other member. Mr. Speaker, during the period when we were debating this motion, what I said, and I want to be recorded, that constructions work can take place in the night while planes can be landing in the morning. That is not contradiction. It is different from what I saw in Kaduna, and I was given a grant information. I find it very, very unacceptable where my colleague here is saying that he has already confirmed that there is construction work already going on, which I said it is almost like danger awaiting anybody. You know, so for him to now start misquoting me, I think it is very, very wrong. And I stated that day that construction work can go on in line with international standard at night, while planes will be landing at the daytime. So I want it to be properly recorded so that nobody will go and misquote me tomorrow. Thank you.
Honorable Arabo. Honorable EJ, you were for the motion, now you are against it. Honorable Arabo, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Simon Arabo is my name. I represent the people of Kauru, I'm from Kaduna State. I stand here to oppose the motion, but at the same time, I should not be recorded as saying that I do not share the concerns on security. God help me, in 2006, I was almost a near victim of an air crash. There was a year, Chanchangi airline took off from Kaduna, landed in Lagos airport. We overshot I was in that flight. So the issue of security, safety is very, very important. Now, having said that, I'm aware that since the day that the federal government said they were going to reroute flights from Abuja to Kaduna, there has been a lot of hue and cry by Nigerians. Of course, I know as a fact that no one can compare Kaduna Airport with Abuja Airport in terms of facilities. So you cannot compare the two. Now, for anybody to call Kaduna Airport a construction site, I'm not sure that is proper, because even when Abuja Airport is in operation, they were building another terminal. Will you call that a construction site? You cannot. And that's a terminal. And I'm aware, in the last assembly, we flew into Benin Airport. At the time, there was no construction. There was no construction, the runway, but the main terminal was being remodeled. What is wrong with that? And in any event, the history of cattle sauntering into an aircraft, into a runway, has not happened. It has only happened in Port Harcourt. And I'm aware that, no, it happened in Port Harcourt. That was when cattle sauntered into the runway of an aircraft.
Silence, please.
And then there was an accident.
Order, honorable members, please.
And I'm aware that after that incident, the aviation authorities took steps. And that is why you have all the airports now have perimeter fence. It is not the case yet. Kaduna Airport has perimeter fence. And again, it is unthinkable that those that are supposed to take care of the safety of lives would allow adulterated fuel to be injected into aircraft. Having said that, sir, under the rules of the House, if you look at the oversight functions of the Committee on Aviation, it makes this motion unnecessary. Yes, look at the rules. Let me read. It says, page 119, there shall be a committee to be known as the Committee on Aviation consisting of no more than 30 members, constituted at the commencement of the life of the House. And then 2 says, the committee jurisdiction shall cover oversight of airport developments and management, oversight of civil aviation, regulatory authority and other services, and number 3, oversight of all air safety services at the airport. Now, the person, my colleague who moved the motion, made an allusion to the report, the AIB report on the Dana crash. That was a very, very unfortunate incident. The Dana crash did not take place. That flight did not originate from Kaduna. The flight originated from Abuja. No. It originated from Abuja, and I share the concerns of my colleagues, because some of us have said that because there are security concerns on the Kaduna axis, but it is not as bad as people think. And in any event, yes. No, that's the truth. No, so I am aware that some of us have, yes, I am aware that some of us have said that they will not go because they don't want to be kidnapped. Federal government has taken steps to make sure that we are safe. Yes, there are vehicles from Abuja and from Kaduna to bring us, we are safe. And I believe that the federal government is taking steps to make sure that people are safe while traveling there. I think the argument should have been that the government should ensure that the timeline to fix the Abuja airport is kept. I thought that should be the argument.
Thank you, Honorable Arabo. Honorable Ihama. Honorable Ihama.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I remain Ogbeide Ihama, representing the people of Oedo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to start by making also very clear that security issues remain very important, and I also stand for the security of Nigerians. However, I will recall that before the commencement of flights from the Kaduna airport, the notification from the federal executive gave adequate time for us as parliamentarians representing Nigerians across the length and breadth of this country. This issue was brought up on this floor, and I remember very well that instead of putting the key issues as an interest, it became a regional issue, tribal issue, and almost a political issue. Today, we are going on 3 weeks with Kaduna Airport in use. Are we now going to say today we want to call a spade and no longer a garden fork that we did before? Where were we when this decision was taken? If we have a committee and if the issue was brought to the floor of this House, how many people were sent to go and see the readiness of that airport? Mr. Speaker, Nigerians are watching, and our duty is not to play to the gallery. Some of us stand up when we feel it is extremely important to contribute our quota. We are talking about lives here. We are talking about safety issues here. Are we just knowing that the international airlines said their aircraft will not go to Kaduna? They made it clear from day one. Are we just knowing that I'm an engineer? I'm a member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Are we just knowing that the Nigerian Society of Engineers made their point clear that palliative measures could be done in Abuja Airport, and they would like to inspect the Kaduna Airport to be sure that it's ready? Was that taken on board? 3 weeks into it? So, Mr. Speaker, I think that while we continue to pray as a very prayerful nation, we have done, we have done 3 weeks. We're going on 3 weeks. Today, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, today we are not now going to say that aircraft should no longer carry people. Mr. Speaker, I went to Benin by road. Let me give this example. I went to Benin by road because going to Kaduna 3 hours and flying to Benin is as good as me going to Benin by road. Mr. Speaker, were there issues taken on board that for people in that axis that will have to go by road, what did they do as alternative to make sure those roads were motorable? People cannot go on that road. Mr. Speaker, let us finish the 3 weeks. We will not die by the grace of God. And we will not play to the guy. We should have taken these steps prior to now. If we fail to do it, we will not do it now. Let them continue. I will continue to pray. After 6 weeks, we'll come back to Abuja. Thank you very much.
We have spent nearly 1 hour on this motion, so we will close the debate here and take amendments. But I must confess I find Honorable Hammer's logic very tenuous, in the sense that it's tantamount to arguing that if a thief steals and escapes with it, then he shouldn't be pursued. So it's irreconcilable logic. I thought you were contributing for the motion, but not against the motion. So we'll take amendments. First is from Honorable Aliu Madaki, but he's not on his seat, so I'll move to the next. Honorable Muhammad Sani Abdul. Honorable MS, okay. Next is from Honorable Kayode Oladele.
I'm on my line. Akan ba a layin ma fa nake speaker. Haba da Allah.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, use this. Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Kyle.
Silence, please.
Silence in the House.
Order, honorable members, please. Silence. Please.
Mr.
Silence,
Speaker,
please.
I am Kyle.
Order, please.
And I represent Imeko Afon, Yewa North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm from Ogun State. Mr. Speaker, I have just one amendment to add to the prayer. And it is to the effect that the House...
Silence, please.
Mandate the committee...
Order, honorable members, please.
...to undertake oversight visits to all the international airports in the country with a view to ascertaining their conditions and whether their operations meet the industry's acceptable standards, and report back to the House within 90 days. Mr. Speaker, I'm saying this because we think that, Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe I'm still on my feet.
It's okay, we have heard your amendment. Any seconder? Okay, so as they say in court, it goes to no issue. There's no seconder. Since Honorable Aliu Madaki has moved to his seat now, we will pardon him to move his amendment.
Mr. Speaker.
Order, please.
My honorable
Order, honorable members, please.
I want to thank all my honorable colleagues seated here for considering this very important matter, which is of very importance to the lives of Nigerians. And we are here for that. My amendment goes that we should mandate the committee.
Please, silence, please.
To urge the Ministry of Aviation to divert all flight to Kaduna to Kano, which has, Mr. Speaker, I'm being very serious, which has all the required, facilities. Mr. Speaker, let me say something very important. Mr. Speaker, let me say something very important. Mr. Speaker, am I protected? Am I protected, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I deserve your protection.
Honorable colleagues, Honorable Aliu Madaki is protected. In as much as I didn't know he was going to move this amendment before recognizing him. Okay, you're protected. Go ahead.
This House, being a very caring House, adopted a motion urging the federal government to repair the road from Abuja to Kano. I don't think any life is more important than the other. As we speak, Mr. Speaker, the road from here to Kaduna has been repaired, but that of Kaduna to Kano, Mr. Speaker, Section 14(2)(b) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Honorable Aliu Madaki, move your amendment, please. Speak to your mic.
I move that this flight be moved from Kaduna Airport to Malang Aminu Kano International Airport, which has all the facilities, so that our road to Kano, because big people will now be flying it, can also be repaired.
Who is seconding? Honorable Chinda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. Kingsley Chinda. I represent Obiabo Federal Constituency. I'm an Ikwere man from Rivers State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, very reluctantly, having been urged by my colleague Madaki, I stand to second the motion and pray that it be considered. I so second.
So, honorable colleagues, the motion was reluctantly seconded, and I will reluctantly put the question. And I hope I will get a reluctant answer.
Support if
so let me reluctantly put the question as it was reluctantly seconded. Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. The nays have it. Last amendment is from Honorable Prestige OC.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Am I protected?
Order, please. Silence, please. Order, honorable members. Order, please. Please. Silence, please. Honorable members, please. Silence.
Thank you.
Silence, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues.
Please, order.
My amendment is to ask
order, honorable members, please.
That the Committee on Aviation should also be mandated to inspect the progress of work so far done at the Abuja airport and report back to this House alongside that progress report at the Kaduna airport. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second, Honorable Shehu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Shehu Ali Musa, member representing Bauchi Federal Constituency. I'm from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, I stand to second the motion heavily moved by Honorable Prestige. Mr. Speaker, I so second.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the first business of the day is presentation report of the Committee on Pensions and the bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Pension Practitioners of Nigeria and other connected purposes, standing in the name of Honorable Hassan Adamu Shekarau. Honorable members will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Thursday, 8 December 2016. The report is ready for presentation, and Honorable Shekarau is invited to present it. Honorable Shekarau.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Hassan Adamu Shekarau. I represent Birnin-Gwari, Giwa Federal Constituency. I am from Kaduna State, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to move that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Pension on a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Pension Practitioners of Nigeria and for other connected purposes. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Kayode Oladele.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Kayode Oladele. I represent Imekoafon, Yewa North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Ogun State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by Honorable Shekarau. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Shekarau, please proceed and lay the report. On behalf of the leader, I want to announce that Honorable Ali Umadaki, I was assisting you when I refused to recognize the whip to second your amendment because he wasn't putting on a red cap. So I guess I fought your battle.
Thank you, sir, for that protection. He came to fight me that I didn't support his motion when I was even asking to second him for the first time in life. And that will be the last.
So on behalf of the leader of the House, we want to announce that for APC caucus meeting, the meeting is 4 p.m. today with the party leadership. So all members of APC, including the newest member of the party, must attend. Must attend. So attendance is compulsory. 4 p.m. is the time. I guess it's room 028. If it's okay, we'll all converge there. If it's not okay, we'll move to another hall. But 028 is the venue, 4 p.m.
Point. No.
Honorable Arabo, your point of order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My point of order is on order 11.
Order, please. Silence, honorable members, please.
I rise to challenge the ruling. It's allowed by the rules, please.
Please.
The ruling on the motion moved by Honorable Ajayi, and I am calling for a division under the provisions of Order 11, Rules 1 and 2.
Urgent public importance. The House just considered a matter of urgent public importance moved by Representative Adeyinka Ajayi. Well, that motion called for a review of safety standards at the Kaduna Airport. In fact, especially the ramp operation safety procedures, where the member says that some of the procedures and some of the facilities in the airports need review. That most of them did not adhere to safety procedures of aviation safety. Well, that motion was extensively debated and considered, and then the House considered it and adopted that motion. But now, as a matter of fact, Representative Arabo, one of the members from Kaduna State who actually contributed against that motion, is now raising a matter of importance to reconsider the approval of the vote by the House, and that is what the House is trying to reconsider as they're trying to visit the rules of the House. I think the member is trying to raise that matter as a matter of fact that what the House considered adopted from the voting, it's not actually what should be.
Arabo, it will appear that you are caught by latches and acquiescence in the sense that we have even moved to the second order before you are raising this. So if you agree by my ruling, I advise you to do what the rules say. You know very well what you need to do as a lawyer. You come with a substantive motion or notice for rescission of the decision that was taken. So that is my ruling on that, please. So if you want, the motion can be taken on Tuesday. I value the opportunity to move the motion.
I was just going to say that under our rules, if there is a voting, I just stand and say no. But since we are, there's no problem. Thank you.
Just come with a substantive motion or notice for rescission if you're truly aggrieved. We move to the next order, honorable members. The second business of the day is presentation of two reports of the Committee on Land Transport and Committees on Land Transport, Aviation, Ports, Harbors, and Waterways, Maritime Safety, Education Administration, standing in the name of Honorable Amin Usani Isa. Honorable members will recall that bills were referred to the committee on Thursday, 22nd October 2015, and Thursday, 19th November 2015, respectively. Reports ready for presentation. Honorable Isa is now invited to present the reports.
Thank you.
Present the two reports together, please. Can you speak to the mic?
Representative Arabo. Well, the speaker now told the member who objected to the result of the House by saying that the member should come with a substantive motion or notice before his point of order will be taken. And so the speaker has said if he has to do that, it has to come on the next plenary day, which is Tuesday next week.
The Federation of Nigeria 2004 and to enact the Nigerian Railway Act, provide for the establishment of a Nigerian Railway Authority, the establishment of a framework and a private sector participation in the provision of rail services and infrastructure, and provide for the regulation of the Nigerian railway sector and for related matters. As all move, Mr. Speaker.
Daniel Seconder. Honorable Hassan Mwazu. Okay, it's Honorable Abdullahi that I'm mistaken for Hassan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. My name is Ibrahim Abdullahi Duse, and I represent Duse and Kya Federal Constituency. I rise to second that the two reports be submitted. I so move, sir.
Honorable Issa, I told you to move the two reports together. We are not taking them one after the other, please. So we have to redo that formality. He will take the two reports, and then Honorable Abdullahi will second. I will put the question and move on.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Once again, with your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, I wish to lay the report on on behalf of Committee on Land Transport, Port, Harbour and the Waterways, Marine Safety and Education Administration, wish to lay the report on National Transport Commission bill and to provide for the establishment of a National Transport Commission of an independent multi-modal transport sector regulator for the regulated transport industry and the matters comments herewith. So, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Abdullah.
Thank you very much once more, Mr. Speaker, sir. My name is Ibrahim Abdullah Duse, and I represent Duse and Care Federal Constituency. I rise to second that the two reports be submitted. Mr. Speaker, I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Isa, you can now proceed and lay the report.
Silence, please. Please.
Fifth. The first order of the day, honorable colleagues, consolidation of two bills. Honorable members may wish to note the bills are on the same subject matter. I now invite the chairman, Committee on Rules and Business, to move that the bills be now consolidated.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Okay, Jeff, I represent the good people of Buruku. My dear colleagues, I'm from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, allow me to hurriedly say this. We have just presented a report. Now, if you look at Order 18, Rule 2D, it allows rules and business to scrutinize all items brought before bringing it to the House. Now,
please, silence, please.
Oftentimes, what you find happening
please, honorable members, order.
Even rules and business is giving the reports few minutes before the consideration of such reports. After next week, the position will be this way. If you don't bring a copy of the report to rules and business, we will not select it for consideration. Because if an issue comes up, how are we in a position to guide the House on what exactly is going on? So any report to be presented on the House or considered on the floor of the House, rules and business must have a copy before we bring it. Please take note. Having said that, I rise to move that a bill for an act to regulate the preparation, presentation, enactment, implementation, and oversight of the budget and for other related matters. And a bill for an act to provide for the procedure for the conception, preparation, and presentation of annual budget, the implementation of same, yearly records, disclosure of information, timeliness, prioritization of failure to implement the annual budget in accordance with the Appropriation Act, be consolidated as one bill. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Adegu.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Albert Abiodun Adegu, representing the people of Ife, Central, East, South and North of Ife constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the source. I rise to second the motion assembly moved by the chairman, Rules and Business. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. The Committee on Rules and Business, please schedule a date for the commencement of debate on the general principle of the bill. The second order of the day is consolidation of two bills. Honorable members may wish to know the bills are on the same subject matter. And I invite Chairman, Committee on Rules and Business.
Order, please. Please,
that the bills
members,
be now
please.
Consolidated.
Silence. Silence, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues. I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the National Honours Act, Cap N43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, by subjecting the nomination for the award of national honours to the confirmation of the Senate and stipulating qualifications and conditions for the award and for other related matters. And a bill for an act to repeal the National Honours Act, Cap M43, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and the Nigerian National Merit Award Act, Cap N122, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and reenact the Nigerian National Honours and Merit Award Commission to, among other things, provide for the establishment of a commission that will regulate matters related to national honours
and Merit Award in Nigeria, and for other related matters be consolidated as one bill. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I so move.
Honorable Nkiruka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Kiruka Oyegeorge. I represent the people of Isugwato, Umulochi Federal Constituency. I'm from Abia State. I rise to second that the bill be consolidated. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Committee on Rules and Business, please schedule a date for the commencement of debate on the general principles of the bill. Second order of the day is move to the third order of the day, which is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish a Federal School of Medical Lab Technology Science, JOS, to provide for courses leading to the award of diplomas and certificates in medical lab technology and other related courses, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 16 March 2017. Therefore, call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read a third time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish the Federal School of Medical Laboratory Technology Science, JOS, and provide for courses leading to the award of diplomas and certificates in medical laboratory technology and other related
Silence,
courses,
please.
and for related matters, HB 39.
Order, honorable members.
Be read a third time. I so move.
Deputy Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved by the Leader.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Now I invite the clerk to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish the Federal School of Medical Laboratory Technology Science, JOS, and to provide for courses leading to the award of diplomas and certificates in medical laboratory technology and other related courses and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third term and passed. Fourth order of the day, honorable colleagues, is the third reading of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment at the Chartered Institute of Treasury Management for the promotion, study, and practice of property managing the Treasury as a safeguard against fraud, outright embezzlement, emasculation, misappropriation, misapplication of resources placed in the custody of fund managers. And for other matters connected therewith. Honorable members will recall the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Wednesday, 22nd March 2017. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read a third time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I rise a bit to move that a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Chartered Institute of Treasury Management for the promotion, study, and practice of properly managing the treasury of as a safeguard against fraud.
This is where we call it a day on today's live broadcast of the plenary of the House of Representatives. So far, the House received one petition and then considered one matter under public urgent importance, and that motion calls for a review of safety standard at the Kaduna Airport, well, especially the ramp safety procedures. And I have with me the member that moved that motion, Representative Adeyinka Ajayi. Thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you. Yeah, please, what actually does that motion seek to achieve?
Well, basically, my motion seeks to ensure that we comply with required ramp standards and procedure, particularly as it relates to the fueling concerns at the Kaduna International Airport. We understand that there's an allegation that bulk haulage vehicles
drive onto the ramp and dispense into Bowsers for onward dispensation into the aircraft. That, to me, suggests that somebody is not doing their job on the side of the regulators. And it shows that maybe we're too carried away with getting other aspects of our movement to Kaduna, getting them right, and ignoring certain very detailed concerns about our fueling procedure and general ramp safety at the airport. That's what informed my motion, because it's to me, it's an accident waiting to happen if something is not done.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.
Here again is a member from Kaduna State, Representative Mohammed Garbadati. Sir, what is your take on that motion?
Well, although the intendment of the motion is about the security and safety of passengers, but the dimension the debate has taken is not encouraging, because I'm sure I've been to Kaduna Airport and I know what is there. The federal government has taken adequate security measures for the safety and landing of aircraft. And even the foreign airlines that refuse to patronize Kaduna, you find out that Ethiopia, ET, that patronized that airport, this is the 15th day without any complaint from them. And they operate one of the biggest airlines in the world, 787 Real Lamna, and it lands there without any problem. So I think the safety problem, even the president, when he came back, he landed in that airport. So I think adequate security and safety measures has been taken, although I cannot say it's 100%, since it's just on temporary basis, but the lapses can still be corrected, but I'm sure the major security and safety measures has been taken in that airport. Yes.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the House has now resolved that it's, as a matter of fact, its Committee on Aviation will have to see to the fact that security is really beefed and checked at the airport. Well, we'll now hand you over to the studio for the continuation of the scheduled program for the day. And on behalf of the crew, I am Ignatius. I say bye and enjoy the rest of your weekend.